How's it going, guys? JP here, and welcome to day number 31 in my second annual 31 Days of Horror. I know, it's November 11th already, so I'm super late on this one. I apologize, but I guess it's better late than never. I actually did watch this film a few days ago, and I just couldn't find the motivation or the time to really get the review up, so I should have probably done that, but I didn't, so hopefully the film's still fresh enough in my memory to do a proper review. VHS 2 from the year 2013 with the tagline of Who's Tracking You? So this film, the reason I picked VHS 2 to cap off the 31 Days of Horror is because last year in my first 31 Days of Horror, I reviewed a film called VHS, and it really ended up being the highlight of those 31 days, and I guess the highlight of the year, because I did call it my number one horror film of 2012. So I decided to follow it up and do VHS 2 to finish off this year's 31 days. I think it's fitting. So yeah, VHS 2. It is a anthology style horror film, which I absolutely love. I have not really met any horror fan who doesn't like the anthology format. It works so well for horror films, and I actually like the tag team combination of the anthology format and the found footage format. I know people were mixed on the found footage format, but I think it really works in along with the anthology format, especially in the way that VHS does it. So uh, we have segments again. The wraparound story is the first thing we're introduced to. We have a private investigator, and he's kind of set up as a scumbaggy type guy. He's looking for a woman hires him to look for her husband and find out if he is cheating on her. It turns out that he is. The private investigator does get evidence of that happening, and instead of giving it to the woman who hires him, he says that he's going to see if the husband will offer a higher price to not show it to the wife. So it sets him up as kind of a scam artist type douchebag, which is normal for a horror film to do. I'm probably overanalyzing it a bit because it really doesn't matter, I guess. But anyway, their next job, him and his girlfriend, is to find out where this woman's son is. And once again, he mentions that he's going to kind of milk it a bit because she's paying him $1,000 a day. Um, so he goes to the school, or the not the school, but the house where the son was staying. He's a college student. They break into the house, and when they walk into the room, it is much like the first VHS film. There are TVs and cameras and VHS tapes everywhere, static on the TVs and stuff. They see a webcam is recording them. They decide to skip back to the beginning of the webcam, and that's how they see a boy on there, which is the boy who they're looking for, and he's talking about how he got a new tape. He found a new legit tape, and he's pumped about it and stuff, and goes into the story a bit. He's kind of documenting his finds basically, and I love that idea in VHS, that there's this underground group of people who are trading and swapping and collecting these rare snuff film like tapes, who just have crazy stuff on them, and it's kind of like this big secret, and they're just swapping these tapes. I love that idea. I kind of wish they would expand on it a bit, because it's very interesting, and I think that's what makes the VHS films so interesting. It's because the stories are on these tapes, and they're traded and collected by these underground group of guys. um, so yeah, that's the wraparound story. It's not really that strong, much like the first film. The wraparound story was not that strong, but I think this one is stronger. There is one really creepy, shocking type moment that I think saves this the wraparound story. So I definitely think it's better than the first one, but it's still just an okay story. Um, so they play the first tape, and the first segment is called Phase 1 Clinical Trials. And this story follows a man who was in a car accident, and he lost sight in one of his eyes. Due to, modern medicine and technology, he is able to get an experimental implant put into his eye. It's a camera. and it basically allows him to see, but at a price for getting this high tech device in his eye. It is always recording. So everything that he sees is recording. That's how it was put onto a VHS tape, and how the people are watching it now. Um, so he goes home, and he basically is just hanging out, enjoying his new eye, and he starts seeing some weird shit. He starts seeing ghostly type images, and it's definitely creepy, and it's filmed really neat, with his eye and his point of view and stuff. Um, then he finds out that a girl shows up who he's seen at the hospital, and she says that she got stuff implanted in her ears because she was deaf. And she basically explains to him that they're seeing dead people, and they are always there, but their new devices just allow them to see them. Um, it's really kind of creepy. There's a like fat naked guy standing there, and she says that that's her uncle, and we just have to ignore them because the more you pay attention to them, the more they can affect you. They can cause effect to you. So she basically, she's like, hey, let's have sex so we can forget about this, which is an interesting scene. I thought it was kind of funny. Um, so yeah, I'll kind of leave that segment off there. Very cool segment. It's kind of ambiguous to who these ghosts are. They were given a little bit to them because they are people. They are people that they know, and it's kind of interesting. It feels like there was much more to be explored in that segment, but they keep it under you know wraps, and I like that about it. So probably a pretty cool segment there. I really enjoyed that one. Great starting off segment. We move on to it goes back to the wraparound segment after every one of those, but like I said, I pretty much gave you my opinions on the wraparound segment. So the second segment is called A Ride in the Park, and this one is I would probably say this is the weakest segment in the film, but it still has its qualities. We have a bike rider, a mountain bike rider with a GoPro style camera attached to his helmet. You know how they record their rides and stuff, and it's definitely leads to some cool shots and stuff, which are enjoyable. And basically, it just so happens that this guy's running into zombies at a park. There's a zombie outbreak that happens at a park that he's riding through, and it's basically he gets turned into a zombie, and it's the point of view of the zombie. This doesn't have a whole lot of substance to it, but it's more about watching it. It's cool to look at. It's not a very strong narrative or anything, but it's purely there for entertainment, enjoyment of just watching something neat, and it is neat. It works in that way. It's just kind of cool to see the zombies' point of view, and it eating, and it's kind of neat. I do think that there was it felt like there should have been more though. There's a scene where he goes to where the zombie shows up at a birthday party under a pavilion, and I think that was the perfect scene to just really go, balls to the wall, and fuck some stuff up at this little kid's birthday party. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there, but overall, it's neat to watch, but it doesn't have much besides that. Um, so after that, the next segment is, it goes back to the wraparound segment again. Throughout every one, that's what it does. But the next one is Safe Haven, and this one was really cool. I really like this one. It is I don't know what they are. I think Indonesian. There's some Indonesian cult type thing. This film crew wants to do a documentary on the cult, and um, they basically go to their area where they're I don't know what you'd call it, their church, I guess, and it's kind of more of a um, it's kind of where they live. It's like a little village establishment type thing, and they basically document it, and they find out that these people are fucking nuts, but not really. They're just, you know, they're what they believe is crazy as hell, and it really is. It just is creepy to me. I think that crazy religious people, you know, you know, religious extremists are super creepy. I think of stuff like The Mist, and I think of stuff like Children of the Corn, and so on and so on. And it just always creeps me out when people take religion to the extreme. Anyway, they end up seeing some crazy shit, and there's some undertones of uh, pedophilia going on there, which definitely made the preacher guy creepy as hell. And I don't really want to spoil this one because the whole end scene is just so badass. It's really fast paced and just boom 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 boom, and it really holds your interest immensely. I really like this one. Second best in the story. I can't spoil it, so I highly recommend VHS 2, by the way. But that segment is really cool. Um, there's a point in the towards the end where just all hell is breaking loose, and it really makes it super fun to watch. And the final segment is Slumber Party Alien Abduction, and this one is probably the strongest segment in the film. Um, Much like the first segment in the first VHS, this one kind of felt like that. It's creepy. There's a bunch of crazy stuff going on, and it is exactly what it says. There's a slumber party going on, and aliens show up, and they're fucking creepy as hell. It's probably the best aliens I've ever seen, and it works so well. I really like this one. The ending is great. I loved how it ended. Um, that's basically it. I don't want to go into it too much. There's a bunch of kids being kids. They're home alone, and aliens decide to crash their party, and it's very creepy. Um, and it's the best segment to me. Uh, so yeah, VHS 2 is great. I don't know if I would consider it better than the first one. I probably like the first one more just because the originality of it right away. This one is riding on the coattails of the first film, so it can't be too original. Um, but I think overall, all four segments were enjoyable. In the first film, there was one segment that I didn't care for too much. But still, I think I like the first one a little bit better. Um, I love in VHS how they make it point of view, because I know that's a big complaint with people with found footage is a lot of people say drop the camera and get out of there, but in VHS they use their minds and be creative in a way to where the camera is not as much of a factor of holding it. It's attached to something, or it's in the guy's eye, and it makes it, or it's, you know, the GoPro. It just makes it more believable. I will say, however, that I think some of the times they were reaching a bit. With, for example, they put the camera on a dog, and it's just kind of like, why? Um, so yeah, that's about it. This review is going on way too long, but I really wanted to talk about VHS 2. And VHS 2, I would give this film, I'm giving it a 8.5 out of 10. Very solid. I watched it on Netflix. It is on Netflix for you people who don't want to purchase it. I'll definitely grab it eventually, but it's just kind of pricey a bit right now, and I don't want to pay as much as it's priced at. So I'll buy it when it comes down, but that's about it, guys. See you guys next year for 31 Days of Horror number 3. So peace.